Hello, I'm Denise. I'm on staff with the Concepts of Truth and a phone consultant for the National Helpline for Abortion Recovery. And I'm remembering Roe versus Wade. 40 years ago, in January of 1973, I was a sophomore in college. I was 19 years old, and I had just been accepted to do my junior year abroad. It was the weekend of my husband's, who's now my husband, the weekend of my boyfriend's birthday. And it was in January of 1973, the weekend of January 20th. We celebrated his birthday and the fact that I was going away to Europe, and then right after that weekend, he and I broke up. A month later, to my horror, I found out that it's possible that I was pregnant. I went to the clinic next door there at the university, and the doctor confirmed that yes, I was pregnant. I told her that that was impossible. I was going away for my junior year abroad. I couldn't tell my parents because they would be upset, and I was ashamed. My friend told me that she had had an abortion the year before in college, two years before in high school rather, and that it was no big deal. I asked the doctor if it was a baby yet, and she said no. And I so much wanted to believe that it wasn't really a baby and that I could just get rid of this problem that I thought that I had in my life. She also told me, the doctor did, and she was kind of excited about it, is that there had been a law passed in Washington, D.C. by the Supreme Court, and abortion was legal. She gave me all of the information, and I called the number, and I traveled from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. in March of 1973 and had an abortion. It was a horrific experience there in the clinic. When I walked in, the room was full of girls waiting to have an abortion. None of us looked at each other. We just looked down at the floor. For some reason, we seemed very ashamed and alone and upset. There was no counseling. They took my money, and it was a physically difficult situation for me. The doctor, I didn't even know his name. He told me to be quiet. In fact, he said to shut up because I was whimpering and crying in pain. After I had the abortion, I realized that a part of me died that day. And it wasn't just the physical complications of it. I felt emotionally, mentally, and spiritually dead after that. When I went back to school, there was really no one to talk to about it. Nobody wanted to talk to me about it. None of my friends did. I called my boyfriend and told him, and he gave me some money for it. I never told my parents, and I had a choice of what I was going to do. Was I going to go away to Europe, or was I going to commit suicide? And by the grace of God, here I am today. The Lord had other plans for me, as it says in Jeremiah 29:11. He had plans to prosper me and to give me a future and a hope. But I went through many, many years of self-condemnation and self-destructive behaviors. I went on to graduate college. I got married to my boyfriend, and we had 4 beautiful children. But I carried this shame and this pain and this guilt secretively all those years. I became very active in my church and held this secret. One day I was standing in my kitchen, and Focus on the Family was on the radio, and Dr. James Dobson said that women that had had an abortion could be forgiven. I was shocked for such a thing. I contacted the local pregnancy center. They walked me through the healing process, and then I received my forgiveness from God and was able to be set free from my pain, my shame, and the regret of my abortion. And then I ran into Millie Lace at a conference and realized that God was calling me to help others that have gone through the same pain, shame, and regret of abortion. And so if you're suffering from abortion, please call 1-866-482-LIFE. That's the National Helpline. We have phone consultants who have all experienced personally the shame and the regret of abortion, but praise God, we have all received forgiveness and healing, and we can guide you in that journey. That's 1-866-482-5433. So how do I remember Wade? Roe versus Wade? I remember it 40 years ago as something the doctor was excited about, something that put a stamp of approval on my abortion and was part of the lie that this was not a person. So today I celebrate the fact that it was a baby that I was pregnant with, and I've named him Joshua. So in his honor, I offer you today, remembering Roe versus Wade, that we need to recognize that when women are pregnant, they need help. And we can help you at the National Helpline if you're pregnant or if you have suffered from an abortion. So please call us, and God bless you.